hurricane, a tidal wave. Essence perfect, life looks brilliant. Give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You burying me, burying me. Yeah, you burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow. I've been caught in the undertow. Toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head. Get you out of my head.
Please note.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin in the eye, seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me the storm is coming, for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Now that I need you anyway.
Just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks a beat of time, I've crossed the lines just to tell you. Don't lead the way, don't even say that I drown with a tragic parade. I feel like I'm fading.
I am in misery.
Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones, I'm losing it all. Stuck in my head, I am in misery. Deep inside myself, all I get, my only family. Stuck in the grave, can someone rescue me? I'm burning alive, I got it, I am in
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Taking Over. And no, I'm not here with Ola today, but I'm here with Andre 2/3C. How are you, Andre?
I am doing great, man. I hope one day I get to be in that taking over intro. I hope maybe this one makes it in there at some point. No, I didn't think so.
Maybe. I'll take a special request just for you, just one time. How are you doing, though?
I'm doing good. Good day. Worked all day. Came home. Watched some NXT. Had a really good time watching NXT. Yes, justice for Lola. Let's go. I don't know why I did the UE, but I did. that's my pose, I guess.
Yes, for those of you that don't know, Ed is at NXT tonight. He gets the lucky to have a double taping, so he saw the show for tonight and the show for Christmas Eve. So he has a lot of spoilers to give us a lot later, if he does come in here. But not, I don't know if I'll say a little bit of what he told me before his phone died. So at least we saw him during the Ethan promo in the background, so you get to a little out there. That was pretty funny. But I figure we'll start with the beginning here. We had the opener here that was Oba Femi versus Axiom. My poor Axiom.
Oh man.
I felt really bad. I should have
Yeah.
taken. Let me see if I can find the picture from. There was a point really early on in the match that Oba Femi just like almost like kind of like a slap to Axiom's face. You could hear the impact from that, and not only that, but from the impact, Axiom falls to the floor. But you could see Oba's handprint in his back throughout the
Oh,
whole match. That looked painful.
it didn't go away, and I'm like, dude, that is so hard. He's literally, and it's like sometimes you see them, and it's just you barely just make it out. This one was clear as day, and it was in like the hand, the size of the hand was gigantic.
Uh, just looking at him, it just gave me that pain, even though I didn't go through.
Hmm.
Like that alone was just like, what the heck? Okay, I found a picture. Let me see if I can
I've been
find
chopped
it
in the
here.
back. I've been chopped in the back. It doesn't
No.
feel good. And the person I've been chopped in the back by is nowhere near the size and power of an Oba Femi. So,
Let's see if I can show it there. There we go. Look at that.
oh,
Woo! Okay, that hurt
mm,
me inside. And the fact
oh, it
that this
probably
is
hurt
just the
his
opener.
insides.
And the fact that this is just the opener when this happens, and he has another match later on, but that's what he
Mhm.
gets for not getting with his tag team partner. Um, but yeah, that I think that was definitely the highlight of this match for me. I like the fact that even with Oba being as strong as he is, that Axiom has his moments that he's able to take on and do a little something. So it wasn't entirely a squash match. He did have some time for the match itself, but fun opener, especially when you see something like this, that you get to do the whole match and then thinking about the impact that he has later on. So, yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
Brett. Oh, it's crazy. Yes,
Hello.
he is. Yes, he
Yeah.
is. So definitely, Brett. I'm glad you stopped in by here to have us here in the chat as well. But yeah, what did you think of that opener though? Aside from that,
Like I I finally got on the Oba Femi train at deadline. I finally boarded the train of Oba Femi, and man, this dude is a monster. But he's gotten so good. As I remember the Oba Femi from the early days, is what I
Mhm.
remember. Not this dude. He is going to be a goddamn star, and just like having Axiom moving so quickly around him, doing all these moves, and then just getting cut off with one that lariat he just took his head off with at one point. And like always Axiom hits this like buzzsaw kick to the head, the old Tajiri move. He just kicks him in the head hard. And then Oba kicks out at one, and I'm just like, oh my god. But like catching the golden ratio and then just tossing him and then power bombing him was just sweet.
Uh, I just feel bad for Axiom during this. Just thinking, it's like this is only the first of two matches that he has tonight, and he's gonna be feeling the effects of this one. That's for sure.
Because I'm pretty sure the handprint was still there when he came out for his tag team
Mhm.
match.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I feel bad for him. But right after this, we have Eddy Thorpe, Mel's favorite. Let me see if I can find the picture for her. Where is
it's
it?
in there.
There we go. Squee.
Wait,
Get it for
ready.
later. Um, but this is the interview that he talks about the title match, and Ava comes in. She's like, "There's nothing I can do, and the contract is signed, but you did take a shortcut." And he's like, my life I heard it worked smarter, not harder, and that's basically what I decided to do when I did this." But again, one thing that surprises me about this is the twist that it was him, because I'm used to like in NXT when there's that kind of like who done it kind of angle. It usually takes a couple weeks for the reveal, so I was
Hmm.
not expecting the reveal to happen a week or two afterwards. And it's like, oh, it was him.
Well, I think I
Got
was in the chat when you guys I was in the chat last week, and then you said it, and I'm like, and literally go, he beat himself up. What? I was, I didn't end up watching last week, and I was just like, what? Come on, come on.
It just reminds me of Scream when the killer just decides to stop themselves somehow when they're partners, so that way they can get off the list. Yeah.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Eddie's so handsome. I have no idea what he even says when he's but it was a creative approach. Yes, I think Mel was definitely on that train with you as well, Brett. So I definitely had to show her that you're on Team Eddy as well, so she's not alone here. Oh, jeez.
Uh,
STG Hollywood Action and 2/3 Andre. Yes. Ed went to the show tonight in Lowell, so he got the double taping tonight. Um, he definitely, from what I remember what he told me, is that Jaida got a really good reactions on the crowd during the match. I feel like especially when she came out, she had a good reaction. Eddy got booed real bad. So there's a lot of great reactions on the crowd here. And it's nice to see them getting outside of the PC and getting still those kind of reactions on the crowd when the crowd is a little bit bigger than when we get at the PC as well. So,
yeah,
yeah.
well, just the crowd in the venue I thought was so hot. Like they
Mhm.
were loud. And again, it's not a big venue,
Mhm.
but like a Deadline, it was a small venue, but it felt like special. I really wish AEW would follow the same suit. Just book smaller buildings and have
Yeah.
these hot crowds, and it 2,000 people, 1,500, 2,000 people can feel like a giant crowd when it's in a smaller building.
Yeah, and what SCG, for those of you that don't know, so the NXT for tonight was technically not live, and then the taping is for the one next week, so it's for Christmas Eve, and then this Thursday, the 19th, there's actually a filming of it in the PC for the one on the 31st, so that way the NXT superstars can get the holidays off with their families. So it's nice to always, even though we get the spoilers, it's nice to have them get their time off when they need it. Um, I do have news for you. And he said it like this: said, "Don't sell SCG," but I randomly yelled out, "Let's go Lexus." So I'm just spilling the beans right at the beginning of the show. I'm not going to start with it. um, and Brett, Jade is becoming such a star. I like the fact she doesn't feel like a character, just really relatable and exciting human who wants to smack someone 24/7. Yeah, that sounds very accurate. Yeah, he said, "Let's go Lexus." Is that how the way that Bobby says it? It's not Lexus. But yeah, I just gave you some scoops that nobody knows, just so you know, STG. Um, right after this, we had the Zaria and Soul match versus Jakara and Lash. But before that happens, we do get Carmen and Dion backstage as they're talking about what happened with Ashanti and everything else. And he tells her you should forgive Ashanti. And as they're hugging, Ashanti passes by and he's like, "Oh, like what is happening? It has to be with my boy of all people." He's like, "I stopped talking to Nikita. Like I cut her off because of you. So basically might as well text her back at this point because you guys are together." And I like how you can see Stevie and Stone in the background, and Stevie's like trying to eavesdrop and Stone trying to pull her away from the situation towards the back there too. I was like, I love seeing that one
Oh,
that
so
made
good.
me laugh. And Dion is just looking like, "I don't know what's happening here. I'm so confused." And she says, "I'm confused." And he's like, "Well, I think he thinks that we're together, but it's not really like that." But yeah, this is again more of the stuff that I really don't care about because I don't care for the
It,
story.
for us Canadians, it's the grassy NXT.
Oh my gosh, I missed the Degrassi when I was a little bit younger. I'll put it like that. Well,
Yes.
the history of the women's division was so great. I'm glad they showed Indy, Mercedes, and Mindy Rose because they're NXT history. Yeah, I really love that video package there from the beginning and the narration too, because I like how they were very clever with their wording too. Because they say, "Oh, we turned to Paige when Paige was there to the Four Horsewomen in their era," and that kind of thing. They talk about toxic attraction, things like that. They definitely showed Mercedes, they showed Indy. So it's nice to see that kind of history from the women's championship for that video package for Roxanne versus Julia.
Did you notice that when they were going through the champions, they showed Mandy, but then they jumped right to Tiffy, even though Roxanne had that title right in there, and they jumped from Tiffy to Roxanne's current reign. I was like, "Aw, they skipped her first reign. That's mean."
Dang. Um, I wouldn't want to recognize it either because I prefer this reign over that one either way. So
Oh,
I'm
100%,
fine with
100%.
that.
Yeah,
Definitely
because
better than how it ended.
she was fine, but she wasn't ready for that title at that point. That's only because of the Mandy situation that she ended up getting it at that point. I think Mandy would have had much longer if that shit hadn't happened.
But I did, even though I didn't like the reign, I think I did enjoy the match and how she became champion. But everything after that, I don't like, especially how they took it away from her. I feel like See, this look, and this is good timing because Andre is here. Andre watches that. So, Andre, did you watch the Mercedes
Oh,
match? If you didn't know, Andre is one of the people that does the Japanese wrestling update on Friday, so he talks
I'm
about that
talking.
very often.
Well, we're doing Japanese wrestling update this Saturday at 4 p.m.
Mhm.
Eastern, just here, where there's Mel is going to be doing the ROH post show on Friday, so she has to watch that show that night at the same time we usually do Japanese wrestling. So she's gonna be up. We're gonna do it Saturday at 2 our time, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Mhm.
But yeah, oh my god, this might be a spoiler, but it's now in my short list of women's matches of the year. Cause fuck, that was good. It might be the best I've seen Mercedes since probably her Mayu Iwatani match. Like or maybe like Vakira. Actually, her and Vakira is pretty good, but like her, oh, dude, yeah. But we're doing it on Saturday. It's happening on
Yeah.
Saturday. The show is happening Saturday, FCZ. So be there Saturday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern, or I guess you're in BC, so 3 or 1 p.m. for USGG.
There you go. I wouldn't be able to do that anyway. Now we head over to the tag match that we were just mentioning, Zaria and Soul versus Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. I feel like for it being the first time the Soul and Zaria team up, they did really well together. They had such a good chemistry. But at the same time, with everything with Zaria, I wouldn't want her to be in a tag team though. I feel like
Mm.
she's better off being as a singles competitor right now. But I did enjoy the part that I believe she had, yeah, she had Jakara in her shoulders, and then Soul was basically on top of Jakara, and she jumped over to Lash, and they held Lash in place, which I like that because I feel like usually you see the people pretending they're in the
Mhm.
corner there, or like pretending they're doing nothing, and then they're waiting for the person to like drop them. And I'm glad that at least she had an excuse and she held Lash at that moment there, so that when Zaria threw Jakar, she threw it onto her Lash, and I was like, that was great because you have that moment there why Lash is in the way and why Lash is not moving because Soul has her wrapped, like trapped in there. So that was very fun to watch. I feel like they did very great with those kind of like double team moves for
Mhm.
people that are teaming up together for the first time. But again, the heels being the heels, Lash has a distraction, and I feel like that's what causes that change in the match here and the trajectory of it, and that's how we get the Metaphor girls winning. But again, it makes more sense that they win because they're more of an established team than Zarya and Soul as well. But in that the way that Lash just dropped Soul in the middle of that ring, that was nasty. That looked nasty to begin with. But fuck,
What is that called? The bougie drop or something?
I really have no idea, to be honest. I'm terrible with the names.
I swear he called it the bougie drop, and I'm like, that's a great name. If that's the name, the bougie drop, I'm like, I like it. It makes
It
total
makes
sense
sense.
to her character too. Like I'm like, that's absolute perfection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. What did you think of the match overall, though?
I really liked. I've been a big fan of Zara since she debuted. I think she's an absolute beast. And just like again that double team spot with Soul jumping, like her surfing on top of Jakara on the shoulders before she jumped was great, and then holding Lash again, the psychology of it makes so much better sense rather than it just Lash like stumbling up, right? It just makes more sense, and it's like it was great. Um, yeah, there was a little kind of there was a cool spot where her and Zaria and Lash were fighting over the suplex, and then Zaria gets the suplex, tags and Soul hitting that beautiful springboard splash. Look again, like Soul's in ring is just getting better and better and better. She was good. I think she was good from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but she is just like can do pretty much anything in that ring, and it's kind of awesome.
No, she really has been doing great, and she's one of those people that can feel like she was naturally good to begin with, and she just keeps going up from there. And it's always nice to see there with the superstars. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but after this, we get the replay from last week, which was TNT and the Hank and Tank, and the way TNT was, they were very sore losers after losing to Hank and Tank, and they were both backstage, and they showed them walk into the locker room, and they're just saying like, I think it was Tyson, if I'm not mistaken. He talks about like, oh, you shouldn't be a sore loser, and then not that we need to be friends with everybody, but don't necessarily act that way when you lose a match. And Wesley's in the background and just tells Tyreek like, I feel like he has a good attitude the way he's going. He's like, that attitude would take you to different places. So he's like, keep it up and keep that attitude. He tells to the other guy who had the attitude after the match. but the team, they don't seem to agree on how you should treat them after the match and the attitude you have afterwards. I feel like this is something interesting because if you were to turn them heel and have Wesley kind of be sort of like that teacher for them, I feel like that will be something interesting for him if he were to influence them in that way.
I'm kind of hoping they do something where he takes them to a treehouse, just to convince them to become part of his team, and I think that'd be kind of because is this? I'm sorry, is this OTM?
No, this is we call them TNT. It's Tyson and Tyree.
Okay,
Yeah.
honestly I'm not even sure who I'm not. That's a one team. I'm like, who the hell are OTM? I
No,
can
OTM
never.
they were with Jaida. That's OTM.
Yeah, but I didn't even really notice who they were because the only ones they really focused on during that match outside of the ring was no court to catch, and then they
Yeah.
brawled off. And I'm like, I still don't know who these guys are. One team in this company, I'm like, they keep getting featured. I'm like, who are they?
If I were to say like that, like TNT, they're built so like physically they look so similar to each other. They almost look like twins physically. It's kind of like
Mhm.
a AOP, how they look similar but they don't at the same time because I feel like they have
Oh
like a
yeah.
similar build. Versus OTM, they don't exactly look the same. If that makes sense,
Okay,
I
that
think
make,
that's one
that
way.
does make sense.
Yeah, that's I think one way you can kind of just like see them differently from each other. But now that you talk about OTM, we do have Jaida versus Wren. Jaida coming with OTM and Wren coming in with Tavion and Myles. No Charles in sight for this one, at least, which I thought was pretty interesting that we had
He
tag
was
team and tag
busy
team.
filming stuff. Come on.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I did like that it was like the team and the team here, and like even after everything that's happened, they keep brawling throughout the match here, and they leave during the women's match itself
Mhm.
here. Um, Again, though, I feel like both Jada and Red has such a great like performance here. It was hard to pick somebody to win this, even though I feel like Red has been doing or giving us great performances by losing her matches, but they're memorable, like in a good way. Jada again being on her winning streak by winning this match and starting off and getting that momentum back again that she lost because of Lola. I'm glad she was not in this episode.
Mm.
I'm
I
waiting for that
wasn't because I was hoping to come on here and sing the praises of Lola. But again,
No.
I think Jada Parker, she's getting so good, and Ren, I really like the rise and working, like blackmailing her way into the No Quarter Catch crew, and then and again, I think seen it. I think it's obviously the PC, but you see the differences in her game since moving her to the New Quarter Catch crew.
Mhm.
She's doing a lot more technical stuff, working with those guys, and like, how can you not get better when you're working with Tavion Heights, who is a pro wrestling Noah superstar and literally the highlight of the tournament for me. But yeah, again really good here. But again, Jaida winning here makes perfect sense. That spinning back elbow that she did looked just like
Mhm.
I thought she actually it was like a full on actual connection for it with how fast she spun into it. I'm like, oh Jesus! And then, although I'd rather that be her finish, I don't care for her finish, the hypnotic. I'm just like, okay, so you're the next Naomi? Is that what you're saying? You're telling me here? Like it just gives me like huge Naomi. Not that it's bad. I think Naomi's great,
Mhm.
but it's just giving me like okay. So you're copying Naomi is how it feels to
Mhm.
me. Like
Okay. Mhm.
it's I don't know.
I feel with her too. I feel like I haven't seen her have a move that is her finisher that I could say like this is her finisher all the time. I feel there's some she does differently, and that was one of them. She does like little hip thrust. She does the back elbow thing. It's always so different. You never know how the match is gonna finish because you don't
Mhm.
have a finisher for her, which is kind of odd at the same time because I feel like at this point, when you see people that like her that are so consistent in NXT, they do have a finisher, and I feel like she doesn't. You can look at her matches; they always end in a different way, so you never know how they're really gonna finish. But
Mm.
I did like her showing that power here. There was at one point that she tells Ren, "Just bring it," and at that point, Ren is so fired up that she starts chopping her, and that's when like she regrets it because she's just getting strikes and chops like so quickly
Mhm.
there. And Ren is just so fired up when that happens. I love seeing that from her. And I let me tell you, and I didn't say it. Let's say I think it was last week. These gears for Ren have been so much better than the one she debuted with, the one with like one leg up and not the other one. These are so much cuter, and they fit her so well. she looks so much better in the ring with these than the other ones, because I feel like with the other one she looked almost like a little girl, and I feel like now this changes her image a little bit more, and I'm glad she changed her gears to begin with. I feel like that's a one little detail that from her that I haven't mentioned recently.
Yeah, again, the gear update is a good thing because again, she was very much. I think when she debuted, she's very much more kid friendly, get goofy, the goofy girl. Where
Hmm.
now, I think the edit in her gear is a good thing to see, especially going into working with a very serious team in North Quarter Catch Crew. It's more seriously, you want the gear to be to reflect more to what she is becoming. And that when you're talking about the fire spell where she's chopping and layering, she gets Jaida down and she hits a running crossbody to a seated Jaida, but she hits her in the back, like folding her forward. I was like, oh, I like the difference in that from hitting her from behind there instead of usually it's from the front to like a seated lariat or something or seated kick. It just, I really like that.
I also like that there was more towards the ending that Jada goes for the hip thrust and Ren had a scout in, so she goes for the pin instead. And I was like, I loved how smooth that looked in the
Hmm.
ring as well. And talking about the gear, going back to that, the gear also reminds me of her time in NWA, and I feel like her character in NWA is different from this character, so it doesn't fit her very well. But I cannot wait till she becomes a heel and she's able to be, I would say, a little bit of the similar-ish to that character that she had before, because I feel like that's what I'm missing from her, that heel persona that she does so great with it. But again, I feel like they had such a great chemistry with this match. Like I mentioned earlier, OTM and the quarter crack catch crew, they were just here battling, four guys, and they left through the ring. I like how Jada just moved out of the way like this, and the guys were just battling, trying not to hit her when the match was happening. But again, Jada with the win, she gains that momentum. I feel like she definitely needed that after losing to Lola, and it's just like I feel like she needed more of that attention that she was losing a little bit there. And I feel like she got a great crowd reaction since she came out. So I was really happy for her to get that type of reaction from the crowd like early on in the show.
Yeah. Ren was Maddie Renkowski, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought that was her. I'm just like I'm trying to remember. Like I think it was Matt. It was. I was like it's Maddie something. I was trying to. I was sitting there. You talking like Renkowski. Thanks for yeah.
Rankowski,
Renkowski.
Ren Sinclair. There you go.
Oh, that makes so much sense. God, I didn't even put that together.
You're welcome. that that light bulb moment. I need to get a clip of that. That one.
That perfectly didn't even realize it until right then. Okay, okay.
I definitely have a clip of Bobby later.
Yeah, I
That's
need
for
more
sure.
clips of me doing dumb things. Sure.
Yeah. Wait, you started with the 2/3 thing, so that's your start of it there to
Yeah.
begin with.
Hey, you created that.
No, not me. That was more Mel.
Oh, I blame you.
No, please
All your
don't.
fault. All your fault.
Oh gosh. Well, talking about blame, we do get Tatum, Gigi, and Shotzi with the dolls and talking about what happened last week and Shotzi return. I do like when Shotzi starts by saying that they get labels stamped on them for being weird and that kind of thing. And they blame it on the people like fatal, I was gonna say fatal attraction, fatal influence who like begin stuff like that. And I do like how that you go from there to Fatal Influence watching this backstage and they talk about them. It's like, well, they don't have what we have, which is like unity and this aura. And then Pan goes, and a championship. It's like, sure. But I did like one point though. I like how Gigi talks about her friendship before with JC. And in this, we get flashbacks to how they broke up. And she's like, she said this line that I thought was really interesting. She said, she's stronger when she has somebody by her side, and we do have that. She's like, especially when somebody is a champion, meaning with Fallon, just as she was with Mandy was champion as well.
Hmm.
But not only do we get for the influence watching, we get the surprise of the Unholy Union here showing up. We haven't seen them in quite a while at this point, so I was very happy with seeing that. Ed had told me that they were coming up, so I was very happy, and I was like, "There's no way this is happening," and then they showed up, so I was very happy about that. We haven't seen them. Wow, I feel like maybe a few months at this point, and they haven't done anything with them. I know Alba was part of the Intercontinental Championship tournament. Isla wasn't a part of it. I haven't seen them together in quite a while, so I'm glad they're here in NXT. Or for if it's for a bit, I will gladly take it because I had fun with them and they were taken too soon, to be honest.
They're
But
a great tag team. They're a
I love them
wonderful
really.
tag team.
And I love how they formed too. Like that story line that we got in NXT, how they formed was really well done. I like how they look at the TV and they look, these three are better off together than you guys are together. And it's like, oh, for us, you basically look pathetic. And she's just like, well, look at the bunch of weirdos that we keep attracting, and they were not happy with what they got from the Unholy Union before they left. So I'm guessing this is something that's gonna spark up something a little bit more later. But again, I'm very interested with the addition here on Unholy Union. I am very glad that happened.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Any other thoughts that you have on that part of it?
And I'm looking I'm looking forward to the eventual 6-on-6 with the emo girls. I don't know what to call them. I really don't. The goth girls, whatever you want to call them. What was it Shotzi say? Something balls out. I can't. What the hell she said? It was. I laughed so hard I forgot to write it down. She said something out, balls out, and I'm like, what? Dolls out, balls out is what she said. Because they were all playing with dolls, and I'm like, what the fuck
Oh.
are you saying?
I did like that Tatum went, you guys saved me and you guys are my friends. And yeah, they show us everything happening from last week. And it's like, now I have people to play with. I was like, I love Tatum. I love her. She's so freaking cute. But seeing these girls together makes me miss Wendy Chu, because they did the angle with Wendy Chu and Rosemary and that crossover there. And then she just went off TV and we haven't seen her ever since. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Weird.
what to do with her at this point.
Bring back Sleepy Wendy Chu. Come on.
Yeah. I still take my naps, so might as well do it. This is what we have, the second Axiom match of the night. So we have Nathan and Axiom versus Gallus for the NXT Tag Team Championships, the 1 out of 2 championship matches that we got tonight. One thing that really stood out to me was when Wolfgang really just basically threw Axiom on the canvas and the way that he did. Holy moly, that hurt.
Oh.
That really did. I did like that moment that we also get Nathan has the face mask and Axiom is already hurt. So I like how they're going backstage and it's like we're already burned, all hurt coming into this. So you really think this is probably the one instance that they could lose the championships because they're both down. It's not just Nathan, but it's Axiom too. And even then, they still come out on top and retain the championships. And the other part that I really enjoy when they did the Canadian Destroyer and then everybody is down. It was like those kind of moments that when they get the crowd all hyped up on the match. Again, I feel like they did. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I enjoyed a Gallus match. I can't believe I'm really saying that, but they did very well in this match. I had fun with it.
Yeah, there are so many good spots here. Gallus is like a backslide, and then one of them does a backslide, the other one knee drops Frazer right into the mask, on his deviated septum, as they said, broken nose, whatever you want to call it. Just great stuff. And then that slingshot you were talking about, the Canadian Destroyer, they did it earlier in the match, a slingshot into the backdrop. I'm like, oh, I really like that. It looked brutal because especially they're hitting to Axiom because he's hurt. So just slingshot and setting him up so high. I'm like, that was great. And
Yes.
Frazer, I was like, oh, he's been watching his Hiroshi Tanahashi because he hits a sling blade and follows it up with the high fly flow. So I was like, he's been watching his Hiroshi Tanahashi. But yeah, that I didn't think a man like Wolfgang could fly like he does with that Swanton bomb. I was like, oh, okay, this guy's got more than just power. He's got some skills to come off the top. I'm like, okay. I very much like that. But yeah, that finish was great. Yeah, into the slingshot into the Canadian Destroyer, and then the Poison Rana, and then Axiom or Fraxiom hits their Spanish fly into the Phoenix Splash. Fucking loved it. That Phoenix Splash is just gorgeous every time he hits it. It's just the only other person I've seen it hit it that well is Kota Ibushi, but that man also sparkled his face doing it and took himself out for pretty much an entire year and a half by doing that move. So I really hope Frazer never sparkles his face during that move. I really hope so.
I was gonna say, aside from what you mentioned, though, the sling blade and some other moves, if you notice, is because he's also trained by Seth Rollins, and you can see the shades of it during his match. If you didn't know.
I did not know that. He's a brave and the bold guy, eh?
If you go watch it back, you'll definitely see shades of Mr. Rollins in there because that's Rollins' son, as I say.
And then Rollins Rollins got that from Tanahashi and fastest to Frazer. That makes sense. Okay.
And not only that, but if you notice, Nathan moves a lot like Seth Rollins used to before his injury happened. If you were to,
100%, 100%.
they definitely feel like a similar. So I'm like, I'm good just because I get the shades of Rollins and what Nathan did. That's why he's one of my favorites too. But yeah, I feel like it was again a fun match, and no surprise there to having an Axiom still retaining. To be honest, as we have it, Fraxiom is fine.
Mhm.
But again,
It
it's like
is.
definitely did not expect them to lose it here tonight. I don't know how they're gonna lose them, but it feels like tougher and tougher every time
But-
because I feel like they're more hurt, but they still win.
I know how it's going to happen. When the North blows in and they defeat them at Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, no. Well, I was gonna say maybe. I do have a feeling that it could be the North, and I'm like that would turn me apart so much too.
Oh, it makes you so happy. Josh
Mm,
Alexander officially signed to WWE, where he belonged so many goddamn years ago.
very true. Yes, he'll be a free agent sometime in February.
End
So
of
we'll see how
February.
that
It was
goes.
February like 25th or something, around the end
Yeah.
of February.
Almost
So
March. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. When the northern winds blow
Mm.
in March, it's gonna set it all up for Stand and Deliver.
It's gonna hurt me, but it's gonna make me happy at the same time.
Yeah.
So right after this, we get Javon is talking to Hank and Tank about them winning, and we get a very sad Ethan page in the background as they're talking about this and they're matching. They say, "What about Hank and Tank being tag team champions in 2025?" And I say, "How about no? No, no, sorry, it's not in the
No.
cards.
The North is next up.
Maybe next time, Javon, but not this time around. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while.
The North is next, and then Hank and Tank can have them.
No, still no. I'd rather not. This is what you were mentioning a little bit earlier. If we get the workout with Charlie and Lexus, I thought this was kind of funny at first because I like how he has a deck of cards and Lex is like, "Well, what are we playing cards?" Like, no, we're gonna do the workout is based on the cards. We're gonna keep working until we run out of cards. And Lexus is like, well, I guess we'll see what happens. Um, but I did like having that progression of like he's doing okay, and then he kind of starts doing terrible, but then he gets influenced by how Charlie's doing it. So we get the progression there between both of them. And at the end, Charlie says, "Well, you kept up with me. You didn't do so bad. You improved. So I'm gonna keep my promise, and you get your NXT Heritage Cup title shot next week." So that is part of the Christmas Eve tapings that Ed got, which he just gave me a spoiler for this, but I won't mention it here.
I kind of wish they would have done this in like 2 or 3 segments throughout the show, and just
Mhm.
to show a little more of the workouts and like just watch Dempsey kill this dude. I think that would have just it would have not that this wasn't entertaining. I think it would just like a through line
Yes.
should the show of this,
Mhm.
and then in this spot have him getting his title match or his cup match. That would I think. Just personally, I think it would have been nice to have that kind of spread out throughout the show.
That's a good idea too, because I enjoyed it and it felt short, but I liked what they showed, and I think that would have been fun of getting the beginning that he's like, okay, I can do this, and being confident in the middle of it. He's doing terrible, but at the end, he did well, and he impresses Charlie either way. But this is why we mentioned earlier that Charlie was not at ringside for Wren's matches, probably because this was happening, and this was the excuse behind it. But again, I enjoyed the both of them together here. That I like I forgot the name of it, but it's like the way he sits on his neck and he starts swinging around, and the Lex was terrible at first, but then he
Oh
starts
yeah,
improving. As he's watching Charlie do it. I think that was fun. Millie, you're here. Hey, yo, I'm just getting
Billy.
upset. Nothing will happen in NXT. Don't worry, we're almost like more than halfway through what happened tonight, but I definitely recommend you watch it just because it's a double taping, so you're gonna get spoiled for next week after that. And so might as well watch it today. um and SSTG is saying the emo of Ethan, so we're gonna definitely discuss that now because we get that Ethan promo exactly in the same building when HBK lost his smile, and I'm glad I know about it because I've seen
Really? I didn't
yeah,
know this
same
was the same
building,
place.
same
Oh,
place, same building. So many years later, I forgot how many years later at this point, but so
wow.
many
Okay, I didn't know
same
that.
storyline. And Ed has been saying it for months at this point, the way that HBK is just recreating his own storylines with his people from NXT. But because we get It's what I love about it though, the fact that because a lot of the audience that watches NXT, it's kind of younger audience compared to the audience that was watching with HBK was wrestling. So we know the storylines. Like I've seen them in clips, but I didn't watch them live. And then now you get to see them happening with the people from NXT. So this was fun in that aspect of it. And yeah, it's the same building that where HBK lost his smile. So I think that was fun to see that happening with Ethan Page here. Oh, look, we have a run-in with Scoops coming up. Okay,
Oh
I
my
said
god.
you.
Oh my god.
I did like the
Somebody
fact
give him
that
a link. Somebody give him a link.
I like the fact that he's talking about his family. He's like talking about like if it wasn't for my wife, like I wouldn't be here. Like it's been 18 years of hell for me to get here. I promised my daughter that I would get here. Promised my son I would get here. And this is the moment. What if you pause in that clip? You can see Ed towards your bottom right of the screen when Ethan's doing the promo. So we spot Ed from here. But again,
Before you pop him up, hold on.
yeah, what are you gonna do?
Oh,
Uh-oh.
here it is. Here it is. See? You can
Yes.
see him in the corner, and I zoomed in. And there's Ed. There's Ed in his blue shirt.
It's like girls want big lots on their body. Okay, are you ready, Ed? I don't know if you're gonna want like message me some before I pop you in. But again, I like the story here, and then Javon comes out and he says, you know, Wave
Yes.
is like, yeah, SCG, that is Ed. He's
He was
coming
there.
out of the.
That's why I'm here.
So he talks about the moments like Javon says, well, when you came in here, you came in and you started rubbing in your face all your accomplishments and what you've done so far. So it's like we didn't take you very well because you were coming in that sort of way. So he's like, but he's like, I get where you're coming from and I get how you feel. So again, that was fun in there. But then we get the little swerve from Ethan as he starts beating up Javon, comes in with a chair. Less hatred so far. Yeah, there's some haterade today, that's for sure.
I got my love aid.
Hater.
I got the love aid,
Yeah.
you know? I got all the love aid.
Gosh. Okay, I think he might be ready soon, but I'm waiting for him. But again, he just comes in with the chair and puts the chair right in Javon's throat. He steps on the chair and then he spits out blood, as I would say.
Yeah, I even wrote it in my notes. I put quotations around blood in my notes too.
I hated that part, to be honest.
Oh my god, it was so stupid. Just sell the throat. You don't need to be spitting up.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be spitting up that much blood within like 2 seconds.
No.
It would take a bit just to get that much blood to spit up.
Yeah, I
hate
didn't
that
like the
so
timing
much.
of it, to be honest. That's the only part I don't like about it. I did like the way that Ethan responded to what Javon's saying. And he's like, kind of like, you wanted to see the real me. This is the real me. And I like the interaction here, especially when you got somebody as a babyface as Javon coming out and getting attacked by Ethan. But the part about the blood, not my favorite to begin with. But
Yeah.
Ed, let us know whenever you're ready to pop you in. Oh, wait. Can you hear us now, sir? Maybe.
Come in, Ed. Come in.
No, oh no. We're gonna
Oh,
have
he
to wait
left.
for him to come back. We have to wait for him to
No.
come back. But yeah, I feel like especially somebody like Javon having to come here and get that reaction, I feel like it hits a little bit more just because Javon's such a baby face compared to Ethan here.
Mhm.
I thought I was gonna get an ad break for a week. Kinda. He's not here tonight, so that helps.
He tried to run in, but he couldn't.
No, maybe he'll run in for a moment.
Yeah, I like this. I think it's telling a good story of Ethan Page, and again, I think I'm going to keep saying it. It's leading to the North, but that's what I hope, because there's no way Josh Alexander dropped that many indie bookings to go to AEW, because AEW still allows indie bookings. So he wouldn't have said I'm not in. It was in Toronto saying I'm not coming anymore. Not in Toronto, he wouldn't have done that. So it's all leading to this, and I'm so happy. And again, Javon has been such a wonder this year. He is so good. He's so bouncy. He's just flying around that ring, and just I mean, like, this kid is incredible. And he's what, 20, and he's already this good. He hasn't even sniffed his prime yet, and he's already goddamn good. Like, what scares me is I know a wrestler here in the Edmonton area a certain soy boy who's 20 years old and is already riddled with injuries, but he has also been wrestling since he was like 12. So I think there's a big difference. As Javon has, I don't think Javon's been wrestling since he was 12 years old. But
Yeah, Soyboy, who's on my shit list, but that's a different story for a different
what a little shitter.
Hello,
And-
everyone. You don't get to miss me tonight. I'm here. You spread
Damn it.
holidays here after Christmas chaos.
No, this is a message from you from SCG. I thought I was gonna get an ad break for a week.
You fail. Oh,
He says, "My
God,
ears
that
are
was a
bleeding."
long night, but it was so good.
STG saying my ears are bleeding.
Yeah. I said some things at that show that I can't even believe came out of my mouth, but we're going to talk about that another night.
Oh, you chanted for Lola Vice.
I
No,
really spilled
she
the
did
beans
not
on
make an
you.
appearance. Thank fucking God. Merry Christmas to Ed. Ed got all his Merry Christmas wishes. I was a good little boy all year long.
Oh
I
my
got
God.
to see Nikita. I got to see the Unholy Union. I got to see Cora Jade. All the wonderful ladies. And Oba Femi.
I was
Two
about to
shows
say
with
Oba.
Femi.
And Eddy Thorpe.
Yeah, he was there too.
Mel's gonna be mad at you now.
I will tell you, they've apparently done something really good with that heel turn because this arena hated him
Ooh.
tonight.
Oh, Ed, real quick. We have Brett saying hi, Ed. SCG says, "Good to see you, Ed." I was
Hello,
told you
everyone. You
chanted
can't.
for.
I was gonna say I
told
look
you
better
chanted
than
for
I've never
Lexus.
looked before because my camera's off.
Oh my gosh. SCG says, "I was told you chanted for Lexus King. You're a bad boy and a traitor."
I may have chanted for Lexus K.
Scoop
That
of the
is
night.
a rumor I can confirm. I did indeed chant for Lexus K. I don't know what came over me. It just happened. I'm ashamed and embarrassed.
And then Millie said, "The Grinch is here." She goes, "Oh wait, not more Grinch, more like Scrooge."
I mean, I don't like to think of myself as Scrooge. I think that I like to give the joy all year long, but you know, to each their own.
Oh my
I saw
goodness.
the Grinch at Chaotic Wrestling on Friday, though.
We have you in the chat. Like everybody's like hot for you being here. Look, Ed Brad said Eddie was here too. Ed, be careful by my husband.
Eddie Thorpe.
Hey,
people
Brett,
do not
that's Mel's
like
husband,
him.
by the way.
Mel should be happy. I gave her 2 really good pictures of Eddie Thorpe.
No, the second one was better than the first one. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I
She-
was
she's-
moving during one of them. I have a bunch more that I can send her later. Don't worry.
Okay. SCG said this traitor, all the haterade towards Lexus. Now he's loving him.
I did not say loving. I said I may have accidentally cheered for him. There's a difference.
Accident.
It
And accident is
just
when you fall
happened.
somewhere, not when you tan
It
for
just
somebody.
happened.
Sure.
It just happened. Yeah, sure.
Oh my God. Millie says, wait, Millie, someone forgot his haterade at the show.
I did. I was out of haterade. I had to enjoy a lot of things tonight. My haterade levels were low. I don't have any haterade in the car. I'm at Burger King right now to go ahead and fill up on my haterade.
Oh, SCG says we need a permanent host. I guess you're out just in case. And
I mean, that's fine. I mean, I can just, with all the Marvel coming up starting next week, I'm going to have my hands full all of 2025 with Marvel, right, Andre?
Yeah, dude, it's going to be, dude, I thought this week was busy. Next week's going to be just stupid crazy.
Yeah.
SCG also said, I hope you get a lump of coal, just so you know.
Yeah. I'll probably get a coal.
Wait,
I mean,
since you know
there were some lumps of coal in this show, let me tell you.
Since you know about the history, how many years has it been since the Shawn Michaels "I Lost My Smile" promo, more or less?
I was in my early teens. Because you got to remember, it's the Lost My Smile is before the Austin and DX. So he's saying, yeah, I think it's 25 years or so.
There you go. That's what we were looking for. I
Well,
told
I was
Andre
at that
it was.
show, believe it or not.
See, I told you that
Little
the
Ed
younger
comes home
audience,
crying
not
tears.
Ed.
Oh,
SCG said Ed is making us feel old. I don't know who us is because I'm younger than him, so I can't say that.
97. I was not in February of 97. I was 9 years old.
yeah. Oh, it was
Oh,
a long
yeah.
time ago.
It was the same building, right, Ed?
Yes,
That
it's the
happened?
exact same building.
See?
So this is
That had
the building that WWE used to run before they built the Songus Arena in Lowell. So when WWE would come to Lowell, they would run this show. They've ran a couple of Raws here. Tonight they showed the famous DX playing poker, where Triple H beat Shawn Michaels to the European Championship. The Rock won his first Intercontinental title here at the Memorial Auditorium. It's a famous building.
Was
There you
this
go.
where
Now,
was this the same place that NXT ran a month ago?
No, NXT hasn't never ran. The last time NXT ran this building,
NJPW. Sorry, NJPW.
Yeah.
Month ago, sorry. Okay, yeah.
yes, it's the Memorial
It looked
Auditorium.
far
Same
better.
way.
It looked far better under the NXT branding than it did. With
That
New Japan.
setup tonight was weird. I don't know how it came across on television, but it looks funky tonight for us.
interesting.
This is the same arena
Look
where
better than New
Cody won the
Japan.
Ring of Honor Championship.
Yeah.
Mm.
We were talking about the Ethan promo. That's what I was saying, that it was in the same building from what I'd seen, but I forgot how many years between the Shawn Michaels one and this one.
Yeah, and I texted you about it because I don't know if it was an in-house promo or if it was part of them promoting Lowell for the show, but they had like things that have happened in Lowell, and they were doing all kinds of wrestling moments, and they had the Shawn Michaels I Lost My Smile. The literal next scene in that video was Ethan Page.
I think it happened at the beginning of the show, if I remember correctly. Before,
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if they put it on TV or not.
Yeah, they did. Look at Brett. We didn't notice, and we were too busy staring at Ed. I don't know who we is. We sounds like a lot of people.
I saw Ed. I'm the one that took the pictures and put them in.
I was going to say,
Eddy.
I saw Andre post a couple of pictures of me during that Ethan Page segment.
I literally, I was watching it, and I'm watching it. I watch it on Sportsnet Plus up here in Canada until January 1st when it all goes away to Netflix, and everything's on Netflix for us. And so I saw you, and then I had to so I backed it up and paused it and took pictures.
No, this is a great promo. I loved it. Ethan came off great. Javon came off great during this promo. And then Ethan, being the true dastardly heel that he is, it was great. It was a fantastic promo. Well done, Ethan. Well done, Javon. Javon got the crowd into it. Javon had the crowd in the palm of his hand during this promo. Ethan, not so much. We had a lot of fun making fun of Ethan Page during this promo.
What about the blood, though?
So we didn't get to see much of the blood. We didn't get to see the blood until they started replaying it from where I was sitting. Like the first glimpse I noticed that they needed to is when they started changing the apron. That's when I noticed that there must have been blood.
Oh, interesting. SCG's asking, Head, how much was the ticket for the show?
$150 to sit fourth row on the floor.
Oh, so it's probably like $1,000 Canadian at this point.
It was $370 something to sit front row in the VIP seats.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what that
bad,
was.
Actually.
We get it for free in Orlando, so just sorry.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you two enjoy the shocking about the rest of the show. I just wanted to stop by and say hi. Astrid, I'll message you the rest of the stuff once I get my food ordered, so you can go ahead and give the spoilers for the rest. I know my phone died.
Message me stuff. Message me stuff too, Ed. Come on, I want to know the spoilers.
Well, I mean, Astrid will tell you all the spoilers at the end of the show.
Okay.
Because we're not going to be on for the next 2 weeks.
It's true. Well, so what is the New Year's Eve show then? Is that going to be like?
It'll be taped on Thursday in Orlando.
That's what I mentioned earlier, Andre.
Oh,
You paid attention.
I don't remember things well. Just ask Mel.
Oh, I know that for sure.
All right, guys. The Natural, good job running the show tonight. You can run the show on your own all the time if you want. I'll be more than happy to just sit back and talk about things. Andre, keep my seat warm. I'll be back in 2025.
I'll see you next. I'll see you tomorrow, sir.
There is that. I will see you tomorrow.
It's
All right,
tomorrow.
bye, guys.
Good
Bye.
night. It's Canadian, so it's tomorrow. Pay attention 2/3. Yeah, that's the attention span that he has. I was saying that Ed gets the taping for next week on the 24th, and then this Thursday, the 19th, they have a taping at the PC for the 31st, and then they're done for the year.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, you said that earlier.
so after
but
Thursday,
things just go in one ear and go out the
Uh-huh.
other for me. It's not that I don't listen; it's just I don't retain the information.
so after Thursday, they're basically off until next year, unless they do some kind of Florida
Oh.
kind of touring during the weekends, which I doubt. But yeah,
Well,
miss
I
this
wouldn't say
from
until
Brett.
after, probably not until after the
Mhm.
20. I'm gonna say that after the 27th or 28th.
Yeah,
Then maybe they do like a New Year's house show tour, maybe.
I don't know. I have to look. But Brett was saying Ethan is doing so well on NXT. I honestly didn't expect him to do as well as he is. Not because of his own fault. I just didn't think they would invest in him this well. I
Mhm.
definitely understand where you're coming from as well. I feel like based also like thinking of the track record that he has, especially after coming from AW, you kind of don't think like they will invest in him the way they have. But I feel like he got that Kevin always kind of like skyrocket that they put on him. They bought him in and just like here, put him right into the main title picture like they did with
Well,
KO. So
like you
it's
said,
kind of similar.
fastest man to the championship.
Mm-hmm. SCG Ethan does a great job by making me hate him. Means he's doing great work. Yeah, he really is. He's doing great work here. So, I
It's hard for
volunteer.
me to it's hard for me to hate a Canadian, but I do.
No, I love that man. I was a little bit upset about the smile part. I love the smile. Um, but after this, we get the interview with Trick, and he's ready for the title match. Oba comes out and he wishes him good luck. He's like, I don't care what happens, but I want you to win. It's like, what do you want him to win specifically, Oba? Tell me that.
Hmm
Huh? Yeah.
That is so true, SCG. That is so
Oh
true.
no. Hollywood Astrid is
Hol-
more popular in Canada than all of us.
Hollywood Astrid, the queen of OLE.
No,
Yeah.
we're not doing that. What did you think about the interview from Trick and Oba saying that?
I again, it's just hyping me to. I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready to see Oba Femi plant this man and take the title from him. I'm really ready for it because, like, and that I just think it's time for Trick to just move on up, moving on up to the
He really is.
But again, I think it's time, and I don't know about Roxanne. I want her to lose to Julia because I'm a Julia homer. But I think Roxanne's doing such good work that I don't know if I want her to leave quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I boarded that train at deadline. I boarded the Oba Femi train at deadline now. I guess I'm a feminist or whatever as Ed was saying.
Oba feminist.
Oba feminist. That's it.
There you go. You gotta learn it if you're part of the crowd now. Come on.
I got the feminist part.
The other half, sure. So after this, we get the video. It's a video package from Stephanie Vaquer. She's talking about comparing herself to Cora. She said Cora signed in 2021, and she became a focus on the women's division. I thought, yeah, sure, because she was off for like half of that at this point, so she hasn't been in the roster for too long because of the 2 injuries she had. But I like how Stephanie compares and goes, like, well, she was here in NXT and she was the focus in NXT. I was elsewhere, getting those stripes and going to places that made me stronger than where I am right now. And
Stronger. She was
yes.
she was New Japan's strong champion. Yeah.
My favorite line is when she says, "I am what Cora wishes she was," and I went, "Ooh, that is very true."
Ooh, yep.
I love that. But next week they have her against Cora, so that's definitely part of what Ed got tonight for part of the tapings. But she said, "I'll show you and you'll meet you in hell and what hell looks like." So we're definitely gonna get that next week. So very interested to see how that goes. I feel like Cora has only won one of her matches since she returned. And with somebody with Stephanie, I doubt that she's gonna win. Very much doubt it. I have to look back, but I don't think he told me the result of that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that looks like that match is going to be awesome. I think like those two are just. It's been building for so long, and I'm like, yes, let's go.
Okay,
I can't
so
wait for this.
spoiler, if nobody wants to watch it, you can mute us for like 30 seconds. So yeah, for the taping, he said yes, definitely does defeat Cora, which definitely makes a lot of sense going forward. Because I feel like that's the next one after Julia, wherever that happens there. But
Well,
I feel like it was a
it'll be. My hope it's Julia versus Stephanie.
yeah, that's what I mean. She's there
But
whether it's Roxanne or Julia retaining, she's definitely the next one in line to
Mhm.
get that title shot after whatever happens with Julia and Roxanne. So definitely makes sense that she wins. So I'm moving forward going into the next year. But fun promo. I really enjoyed that. I feel like it was a great way to give us that promotional part for the match next week.
And then they announced the 4-way tag too here, didn't
Yeah.
they? Yeah.
Yeah,
OTM,
they
I think,
had
yeah.
OTM versus the D'Angelo family versus the No Quarter Catch Group versus Tank and Tank. Now one contender for the tag team championship. I don't think Ed told me who won that one, if I'm not
I feel like
mistaken.
it's gonna be D'Angelo family just because they were watching shit
Mm.
tonight. But I want to see the rematch with North Quarter Catch Crew because that that match at Deadline was awesome. I want the rematch so badly. Oh,
Let me see.
I want the rematch with North Quarter Catch because like that Tavion Heights is goddamn so good and Myles Borne. That guy's really evolved, man. Like so well, but Tavion Heights needs to win a title.
I feel like he did it. Like he really did show out during the Deadline show. I don't want the AW to be the potential Yul and Stephanie showdown. I'm waiting to hear back from Ed, but I don't. From what I see, he didn't tell me who won the contender. The 4-way though between that, we do have. If you guys want to like mute us for 30 seconds again, another spoiler is that we get Rico coming out on the corner for Lexis King's Heritage Cup match. So Rico going against his own son for that next week.
Oh, Regal again. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you
so
said Rico at first. I
no
was like,
Rico.
no. You didn't realize. Oh, she meant Regal. God damn. Why did I hear Rico? As in the guy from
Yeah.
3 Minute Warning.
I'm losing my voice too because I definitely had a lot over the weekend. So that's my fault too. Okay, so
That's
he
just
said this is another
partying
one.
it up all weekend long. I love it. Hitting the clubs.
No, not that kind of club. So the winners for the number one contender fatal 4-way was OTM. So OTM versus Fraxiom sometime soon, maybe. They didn't say when that was gonna happen.
Whatever. And it's all leading to the
Um,
north. It's all leading north, ladies and gentlemen. It's all
let's
leading
see.
north.
Yeah, they
Ha
just
ha
said
ha ha! She heard Rico as well.
oh no, Regal. There you go.
Regal.
So yeah, the graphic doesn't say when the title match will happen after the one contender, but so it'll be OTM versus them sometime soon.
In and
Um,
deliver when the north blows in.
mhm. So for next week, we do have Stephanie versus Cora, that fatal 4-way. So OTM versus D'Angelo family versus NQCC versus Hank and Tank, and then Charlie versus Sexus King for the Heritage Cup as well. I think I'm getting something else. Oh, he said Ashanti defeated Dia and Lennox as well. So
That's the
we
guy
get
he was
that.
yelling at tonight, right?
Yeah, that happened tonight.
Yeah.
No, STG, no. We don't want them to lose them.
No. Stand and deliver when the north have finally blown in.
Okay, and then we get for the main event, your boy, Eddy Thorpe versus Trick Williams. And then again, we'll put the picture up for Mel here. Wee! Eddy Thorpe, and for Brett too. Brett, if you're still here. That's for you too.
And for you got it. We now have to say it's for Brett too, because
Yes.
we got two. And I'm an Eddy Thorpe fan. Don't get me wrong. I've watched him since he was a young lion. In there you go. There's Brett. I've watched him since he was a young lion in New Japan in New Japan New Japan America Academy. I did some great work over there, but I think he's really come into his own since coming into NXT. Like he's getting, you could see the character of him finally starting to develop. He's not just a random DJ anymore.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe we get Alba and Isla match next week on NXT. Maybe I feel like they were there tonight, might as well. But So far, Ed hasn't said anything, so we'll see. To me, Eddie's innocent in all of this. Brett, hold on, let me give you my glasses because you definitely need them.
Well, technically, he didn't do anything wrong. It's not like he
But
hurt
he's not innocent
anybody.
either.
But he did. If he did nothing
Meh,
wrong,
meh,
that
meh.
mean he is innocent.
No, he's not innocent.
He just
Eddie's still pretty and still a clever bastard.
look. RuPaul don't make you guilty of something.
Yeah, because he cut corners, so it doesn't make him innocent either.
I've cut corners in my life. Doesn't make me not innocent. I'm pure and innocent. Come on.
You? Hell no! Get off the stream if you think you're saying that right now. No, no, you're not. What did you think of that main event since you're laughing so much, sir?
I honestly, I was a little underwhelmed by the main event. It was a decent match, but again, I think Trick Williams is good. CG, I am definitely not innocent. You're right. Purest poutine, but poutine is the purest substance on earth. So
I tried it. It was okay.
but you haven't had poutine from Montreal. We need to all go to Montreal at some point, and we'll get you real poutine over there, with proper squeaky cheese curds. Don't hurt me.
Dang.
But like again, I think Trick is good. I haven't never been sold on him. I watched Stand and Deliver, and I was very underwhelmed by him and Carmelo. Even the rematch, he's never quite. He's a great character. Trick Willie. I think he's a great squeaky curds. Yeah, that's right. You got curds right there. But he's a great character. It's just I never. Every time I see him wrestle a match, unless he's versing like he's in the 4-way this year, he was great in there. Ethan Page, he was great with him, but again, I think you gotta give a lot to Ethan Page in there because that guy is a vet, right? It's when you see him facing guys that are not quite at the upper level, you see a little. He's got substance. It's just he's not quite there, and I think maybe it's the finisher too that it doesn't quite. I'm like just that flying knee. It's like, dude, we've seen the flying knee from so many guys. I get it, but come on. But again, good match. It felt short because again, it started at like 7:50. So I'm like, okay, nothing's changing. But then what the hell was that finish? Oh my god.
So I get where you're coming from because I felt like I like Trick as a character. I like what he does in his promos. I like how he talks. I like how he hypes up the crowd. But I feel like during the matches, nothing happens that really stands out that makes me think that was a great match. For example, that was like great. Like, I'm glad it was the main event. For example, there were so many moments throughout his reign now and Roxanne's that I feel like they could have put Roxanne's matches in the main event because they really showed out, whereas Trick's matches really didn't. And I feel like underwhelmed in that kind of sense of it. So I understand what your perspective is. And I feel like the only part that really came out that made you think about this match is, oh, Eddie hit a Trick and that hit the referee, and then there comes in another referee here to do the count, and they end up doing a double pin later on, which, if I'm reading it correctly what Ed said, it's gonna cause that a New Year's Evil match to be a triple threat because now Eddie has a pin over Trick and Oba. And so instead of being on one-on-one, it's gonna be a triple threat for New Year's Evil. So
Oh, I know what they're doing because they're gonna do this. Get Oba Femi will pin Eddie to win the title. So that
yeah, I was thinking that.
Trick drops it but doesn't take the loss on his way out.
He's safe, yeah, protected in that way. That's what I was thinking too, based on having Eddie added in there. But again, I feel like of this whole match, the other thing that stood out was really that ending with the referees and the double pin, the two referees kind of at the same time. Like that's the thing that stood out to me during this match. And I hate to say it that way, but it's just like I feel like the matches are not memorable or like they don't feel as important to be the main event versus I feel like the women have really shown out and they could have been the main event in so many instances here when we got those matches with Trick instead. SCG comes in. Serious question for both. Who should take the title off of Trick? I think Oba. For the moment, Oba for sure. I feel like he's the one that even though he's a heel, he has the crowd in the palm of his hands in such a way. He gets such great reactions. He knows how to work the crowd. In his matches, I feel like they are memorable. Like we talked more about what he did to Axiom and the handprint that we did about the main event.
Like I think it's usually with Femi run with the title. But again, the North will win the tag titles, and then let them run with that for a few months, and then drop there. And Josh Alexander breaks it with Ethan Page, and then Josh Alexander, the good guy that he is, takes that title from Femi probably end of next year, early 2026 maybe. So
Could be. And another spoiler from Ed, the Unholy Unit defeats Terrible Toxic, as he likes to call them, the Terrible Trio. And he said Gigi, Tatum, Shotzi, Kaden, and Katana. So that's surprising. So the other two women from the women's division on Raw that are not on Raw right now, they were all screwing with the Terrible Toxic. So the Unholy Unit,
was it?
and we
Kaden was just on Raw, wasn't she? She lost the three-way. Yeah.
Her and Katana were both in the Intercontinental Tournament, but they haven't been as a team on screen for a while now at this point as well. So it's interesting to see the two teams that haven't been used on TV for a while coming to NXT for this. So that's pretty interesting there too. But yeah, overall, I feel like this was, I would say, a decent show. We'll see how it goes for. Just in case, Ed and I will not be here for Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, but obviously we'll probably be watching as usual, probably discussing it for the next year when the new episode comes out. So this is the last taking over the year. That feels kind of weird to say, even though we have 2 more episours left. But we'll definitely be watching.
I took over for the end. Woo!
Yes, you did. You took over for the last episode of the year. So, yeah, it's a holiday. So sorry, I'd rather spend it with my family. Yeah, they were tonight backstage, and from the tapings, I think they have a match next week, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, this is the last taking over the year, so that feels kind of.
SGG.
Oh, this is a show.
What about Point of View, sir? Where we're a team,
No,
and this is your favorite show? Oh.
Yes. Thank you, SCG. I'm glad we're your favorites.
I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
We got him back to watching NXT. That's why he says we're her favorites.
I'm hurt, sir. I'm hurt.
Oh, this is the show that got me into OLE.
I'm hurt.
I just speak facts. But no, thank you, Andre, for filling in for Ed tonight. I know this is
no problem.
Doesn't happen often, so I'm glad we got to do something together. Andre 2/3.
Wrong side. Yay!
There you go. It's opposite.
I always forget it's opposite.
Yes. Thanks to my friends that get the tables. Yes, I think there's probably one WCW. There's gonna be one of the Mondays that's gonna get replaced by the year-end awards, if I'm not mistaken, on the 30th. So watch out for that. I know Ed usually does a year-end award, so he has WWE/NXT, Ring of Honor, AEW, and New Japan, Stardom, and Noah, if something like that, represented by Myles. So a little bit of that. That's a little bit of a preview for what you get for the year-end awards, if I'm not mistaken, on the 30th. So I think that's the show that WCW will not be on, because we'll be doing the year-end awards instead. So I think if I got it right, it's the 30th. Hopefully, if not, I can correct me later on. But yeah, so since we're here at the end of the show, tell me, where can they find you? What you got going on, Mr. Andre 2/3?
You can find me on the X and Blue Sky at That Candy Guy, TikTok, Instagram, Threads at That Candy Dude. You can find me on me and Melbo's channel, youtube.com/at Andre Melbo Wrestling Talk. We're gonna have we're supposed to record Chop Talk tomorrow before I go live with Marvel Talk at 8 or at 10 Eastern. So that'll probably be coming out Thursday, talking about this past weekend show we were at. We'll have Japanese Wrestling Update coming out this week on Saturday, because Mel's going to be doing the ROH post show Friday, so she's watching that pay-per-view, so we're going to move it to Saturday. I'll be back tomorrow as I just chat Doctor Strange with the guy who we only heard his voice tonight, the God Almighty himself, El-Led. Yeah, that's I'm being nice.
Don't tell him that.
I'm being nice for once. And then Thursday, I'm actually going to be with the Ring Respect Radio as one of the participants in the Christmas trivia hosted by my boy, my favorite ref in the world, Mike the Ref. Going to be joining in there, playing that game. Hopefully, get a big win there. Crush everybody. The only person I'm scared of is Papa Smokes. And then starting Sunday the 22nd, I'll be on Point of View that day. And then starting that day, we'll be having daily episodes for 8 days covering all of the What If episodes coming out. So, and there should be one Christmas Day, but we also have a very special show coming up on Christmas Day. Yeah, yeah, he's playing for himself, I think. But on Christmas Day, we have a very special edition of Marvel Talk MCU Rebank coming out, where we're going to be watching Once Upon a Deadpool, which is the PG-13 retelling of Deadpool 2. I watched it like a month and change ago when we decided to initially do this. Oh boy, is it weird to watch and see it in such a with no blood. The swearing is really curbed in this. It's so weird. So check that out and so much more. I'll be on the other channel I work with, A Plus. They have their best and worst of the years coming out at the end of the year. I will be on that. So check that out in early 2025. We'll be doing our best and worst of 2024 over there. And me and Melball will have a Chop Talk sometime in January, but after the crazy rush we have from the 29th through to the 6th, we have so many Japanese wrestling shows that we're going to be covering. That entire week and a half is insane for us. So sometime in January, and then we have another show on, I think it's the 11th for Battle in the Valley for New Japan. So yeah, it's crazy. Sometime in January, we're going to have a special edition of Chop Talk where we're going to be doing our best of the year, covering the independent scene we watch, and the 3 Japanese companies that we covered in 2024, and we'll be expanding that to Pro Wrestling Noah in 2025. So.
Then somebody's booked and busy.
Oh yeah.
SCG. Last question before we end here. What was the first brand of wrestling that you both watched? Because everyone is so well versed. Shoot. I think technically it was Raw. Because I remember watching when Lita lost the baby to Snitsky and Kane and that whole storyline. So I saw that. But I ended up watching a lot of SmackDown because of Rey Mysterio and Eddy at that time. So I feel like that was my first one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, probably it was late 90s WWE that I was like a casual fan of. But for me, when I became a hardcore fan was in 02 with SmackDown was what the show I really loved in 02 with the SmackDown 6 and all that great stuff that Brock Lesnar's dominance on the brand at that point. I loved that Kurt Angle and his team Angle coming up. That was kind of my really this is where I became a wrestling super fan was in 02 for SmackDown.
And I feel like I don't know what year it was compared to the baby storyline, but I remember because WrestleMania was so expensive, it was the only pay-per-view that my family and I would pay for, and we paid for WrestleMania 20. And by the time we ended up watching it, it ended up being the ending when Benoit and Eddy were hugging when they both won the titles. So I remember watching that too. But at the same time, like I mentioned before, my grandpa used to watch a lot of wrestling in Puerto Rico for the weekend, so I remember hearing that. But I didn't watch it though. I just remember listening to it more than anything. I just know Carlos Colon and that's about it because I wasn't paying attention. I was just I kept hearing the commentary, but I wasn't watching it at the moment or anything like that. So I can't.
I remember trying to watch wrestling pay-per-views in the late 90s and the early 2000s, but I didn't have the ability to actually order them. So I'm on the channels watching the Scramble Vision. Essentially, I'm listening to JR call wrestling like a radio, like that's on the radio pretty much, and getting odd, weird blurbs of the video.
What I used to do is every time there was a pay-per-view, because I couldn't pay for them, I used to wait 30 minutes and refresh that big website just to see who won, because I would always miss it. And obviously it was no Twitter I could watch from at the moment. That was the only way. So anytime they posted clips, that's what I was watching at that moment. He said I just started watching the late 90s SCG, watching the Scramble, listening. That drive my family insane, but man, it was expensive again. But yeah, that was my beginnings. But I feel like after that, it was mostly TNA, because a lot of people were at that TNA at the moment, like the Kurt Angles and the Stings and the Booker T's. So that was what I was watching. WrestleMania is $50 in the late 90s. I think it was 50 when I was watching it as well, 50 or 60 for WrestleMania. And then after that, it ended up being NXT, hence why I've been watching NXT since it started. So whatever they said, it's 12 years. I think they mentioned the video package of NXT. That's how long I've been watching it too.
I started
Maybe
watching, like,
more.
I think I got into Japanese wrestling in the 2000s because, like, you know, with the birth of Daily Motion and all those other video sharing sites, the tape trading. I always wanted to get into tape trading in the early 2000s, or people would send each other tapes of Japanese wrestling, but I could never figure out how to get in on it. So once the internet, like, videos started coming, that's where I started watching my Japanese wrestling and really got into Japanese wrestling. And then the 2010s, man, with Ustream. There's a company called Ustream. Used to pay. I think you had to pay like $150, and you would get the entirety of the G1 live on Ustream. But as soon as it was over, it was gone. So you had to watch it all live. It was hard. It was hard.
I like how this became such a joke with the name now that I changed your name. You didn't even notice at this point.
Andre 2/3C, I know.
That was me though. You didn't put that.
I know. I had to delete it for a while. It was 2/3 Andre C, and then I deleted the 2/3. Now it's Andre 2/3C.
You never delete it.
Maybe.
But yeah, for me, you can find me. Well, at least for the moment, you can find me in WCW whenever we do it on the Monday. I think we do have it next week if I have my schedule correctly. Other than that, you really won't see me on here unless it's a pay-per-view here and there before the end of the year. But we'll see. If not, I'll be in my room just enjoying my New Year stuff. But yeah, you can find me on my Twitter, Blue Skies, @Pizarro, and my Instagram and Threads, @Pizarro20. And if you're here, you're most likely on my YouTube channel. So if you aren't, click the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when I upload or go live. And hit the like button too. I would appreciate it. I'm trying to, hopefully for the next year, build those subs to the 500 subs to get monetized. So we'll see how that goes. But again, thank you, Andre, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And it feels weird to say, but we'll see you next year. Good night.
Coming soon. To OLE. See you soon.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin and I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me the storm is coming, so take up all your life.